Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to my weekly immigration news show. I'm Marina Shepelsky, New York-based immigration attorney and the founder of Shepelsky Law Group. I bring you this news every week to keep you updated on U.S. immigration stuff, anything related to U.S. immigration, anything really useful for you guys. We bring you every week to keep you updated on everything and to make it more tangible, to make you realize that immigration law, although it looks really complicated, it's really not. And with the help of a good, experienced attorney, you can make even the most complex situations turn around. But for now, I'm going to catch you up on the news. Not that much of significance, nothing really interesting per se going on this week. Nothing new. And I know you guys are all asking and thinking about this. Nothing new right now about the amnesty. There was talk last month about Democrats taking to Congress an update to the immigration registry, where there's a law in place right now that if you were here before 1972, you just apply for a green card without anything else. If you're a person of good moral character, you can get a green card. But 1972 was a long time ago. Although I met a man yesterday who has been here since 1969, and he had a green card, but then he traveled outside of the United States and to Israel and overstayed because he was taking care of his parents. And when he came back, they clipped his green card. So, like, he really doesn't even have a green card, but he does have green card status because only a judge can stop a green card status. But that's unusual. This immigration registry is for people who are illegal from before 1972, no documents here, and now they can apply. Now, Democrats said, let's take that law and just update the year from 1972 to like 2015. So anybody over 7 years now in the United States can be legalized. Not much more news about that. So I really don't have much to say except that it's out there, it's being circulated in Congress, but not much news to the public. Just gonna say hello. He's saying Nani. I don't know what that means. Good morning, says Marsha. Hi, how are you? How long is the change of status? I go to, and I always teach you guys to USCIS processing times. You literally just Google that. And USCIS goes by form numbers. So when you go to processing times, you choose I-539. That's the change of non-immigrant status. Like, for example, you're going from tourist visa to an extension or an F1 student visa. Like, you go from tourist to student, for example. Okay, and I choose student, and let's say you're in Nebraska. So change of status in Nebraska is taking 22 months. So it depends on which service center, and you can see on the receipt notice in the left corner on the bottom, which service center is handling your case. Alicia says, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for watching. Kawi Wala Lahu Ubahan says, hi. I'll answer this later. I'm just saying good morning. Lindsay says, good morning. Good morning says, fine dine eatery. I like that. And you know what I wanted to discuss today, and I'm sure a lot of you will like this topic, is has there been movement in the family petition dates, right? So I looked and I compared the July visa bulletin to the August visa bulletin, and guess what? Finally, I see movement. There wasn't any movement by the Department of State on family petitions. I'm talking about when parents file for children, when brothers file for sisters, married children of U.S. citizens, the really long lines visas for green cards, those finally started moving a little bit. By like 1 month, I see they moved. And you have to understand the way that our Congress created these lines is the longest lines are for Mexico. So if your relatives are citizens of Mexico, they're waiting like 15 years longer than everyone else. I don't know why. I guess because we have so many people from Mexico here. Philippines is like right up there after Mexico, then is India, and then China. So India and China is moving almost at the same speed, but Mexico is the longest wait. So everyone who is not from China, India, Mexico, Philippines, everyone else, it's moving a little bit, but those four countries are really taking the longest. So that's good news. I see some movement in the family categories, although not much, not like a lot of movement, but some movement. What else is new? There's been some changes on how COVID vaccination has to be reported for people coming from Ukraine with the Uniting for Ukraine program. It's a humanitarian parole. Actually, I wanted to say a little bit about the program called Re-Parole. Re-Parole is extending your humanitarian parole, all right? Making the humanitarian parole longer. So the process of re-parole is for people who already have humanitarian parole, and it's usually people who either cross at the border and you show the officer that you are escaping some bad situation, and they let you in for a humanitarian reason. They give you a parole, like you're allowed to enter to be able to file for something or just hide or be safe in the United States. That's called parole. And now that your parole status is expiring, and usually it's for like 1 year, you can file to extend it. There's a process called re-parole to make it longer, your parole status. The form is called I-131, and on the form you have to write in big letters on top, re-parole. So you write re-parole on the form, and you fill out the form, and you explain what is the reason that you need to remain in America longer than you were allowed to come in for. So if you got 1 year, why do you need to stay another year? For example, people from Ukraine right now, obviously they're going to be filing next spring because most of them came in the spring after the war started. And they will be saying there's still a war happening in my country. Russia is occupying parts of my country. I have nowhere to go back to. Now, if you got your humanitarian parole by having a family member file for you, that's also called parole, but that's a little bit of a different situation. And there is a process like that. Like, for example, you have a mom or dad or sister or brother or even an uncle or a cousin in the United States, and somebody in your home country, you are in a bad humanitarian situation. For example, we had parents here and the child is left behind, and there's something happening, there's nobody to stay with. The child could go to like a foster care or orphan home because the parents are here. That's the kind of situation that the parents file for humanitarian parole for the child. There you need sponsorship, you need financial sponsorship. It's still parole, but it's just a different situation for parole. Those people also can file for re-parole, extending the parole, but then you will need the declaration of support, the affidavit of support, form I-134, and you have to show that the person who is continuing to host the immigrant is continuing to financially support them. Maria says, Buenos dias, good morning. Good morning, Miss Maria. Thank you for watching. People are starting to ask questions. I will get to that in a minute. Okay. What else did I want to say today? Anybody who's interested in VAWA, I keep doing TikToks on this, but I think a lot of you guys also might be interested. VAWA, because I have a lot of people watching who filed already VAWA. In 2 words, VAWA is Violence Against Women Act. There's a form, I-360, that if you're married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder or recently separated or divorced from them, or if you have a child, United States citizen, who is now an adult over 21, and that person is abusing you, you have a bad relationship. Now, you don't have to be physically abused, but they're treating you badly. They're disrespecting you. They're calling you names. They're threatening you. They're making you feel less than. You feel like, you're constantly crying because of your spouse or your child over 21. You can file for green card all by yourself through this VAWA process. even if you came with no visa, you don't need a special waiver or anything. VAWA is a waiver in itself. And even if you actually have an old deportation, you could file for VAWA. So everybody is now aware, more or less, of this VAWA situation because a lot of lawyers are now helping people with this. And in our times where we're showing through like the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial that men can be victims too. We have a lot of men filing for VAWA as our clients. VAWA has become more popular. A lot more people are filing. So now, of course, it's taking a pretty long time to process because they're very individual cases and every case has to be read thoroughly, in depth, deeply by United States Citizenship and Immigration Service officer. They usually get a case in a box, so they look through everything and read everything and question everything. So people are always asking me, how long does it take? So right now, VAWA is taking 26 months. I'm looking it up so that nothing changed. 26 months, which is 2 years, 2 years and 2 months. If you filed VAWA in April 2021, you should hear back by April plus 2 is 6, June 2023. If you filed January 22, you should hear back like March 24, 2024, right? So 2 years plus 2 months, approximately. We've now had clients approved in less than a year because if you get a good lawyer and you file everything from the beginning really well documented, everything is really done well, you can do it quicker than 2 years and 2 months. But on the average right now, and they take like 80% of the cases and they average it out, plus or minus 26 months. So now I'm going to answer Robin's question. How long does it take to get travel, parole, and work permit if you apply for VAWA? So I just talked to you about VAWA. It's going to take less time than the VAWA to get the advanced parole and work permit. It takes about 11 months right now. Now, of course, this depends on where you live, right? But it takes about 11 months to get the work permit and the travel advanced parole, it's called. Now, some people are getting a combo card, one plastic card that's both the work permit and advanced parole. Some people are getting it separately if one takes longer than the other. All right, so I'm going to start answering your questions. I think I'm done with the news part, unless you guys want to ask about something else that's in the news. Feel free, drop a comment below. Marsha says, good morning, Marina. How long is the wait for change of status? I answered that already. Hi, I crossed the border with Mexico into the United States 4 years ago. My asylum is pending. I get my work permit. So she got her work permit and was working 2 years ago, married now to a U.S. citizen. We have a baby. So you were thinking what you can do with that. Not much, because your entry is without a visa. You cross the border. There is a procedure you can do through your wife and baby with the I-601 waiver. So there is a way to do this. It's not like the best case ever. The chances of getting approved are not great, but it exists. And if you want to take a chance, give us a call. We work on this all the time. You have to show that your wife and baby have medical problems or special needs. Just because they're U.S. citizens, that's not enough. A lot of people here are legally with U.S. citizen spouse or kids, but if they're healthy, if there's no special problem or anything, you might not get approved for this waiver. So the way that works is you file the I-130, and if it gets approved, then you file the I-601A waiver. If that gets approved, that means you're pre-approved to come back, because you have to go back to your country and interview there for this wife, U.S. citizen process with the I-601 advance waiver. Give us a call. We do this work. Our phone number is on the bottom of the screen, 718-769-6352, and we'll be happy to help you if you decide to do it. Otherwise, let's make sure your asylum case is good. We did this one. Happy Friday, says Zulika. Good morning and happy Friday. Slamit says, good morning. They have an adjustment status for crew members, C1 or D1, please? No, they do not. So the procedure for the crew members, and this is not a real visa, C1 or D1. This is like a transit authorization. That is why you cannot get a green card through that. But you would have to do what our friend, this one, Kawi did, and you'd have to go through the I-130 if you are married to a U.S. citizen with the I-601A advanced waiver. Now, the waiver says U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service. Please forgive that I entered with this type of weird visa. That's not a visa. It's the same thing as if you entered without anything. But I have a citizen wife for her interest, or citizen husband for his interest, and he has medical issues, special needs. Maybe he's got some illness or some special job or whatever, and you were the caretaker. You cannot send me away, because if I go away, then they would need to follow me. They're dependent on me, and they're sick. And in my home country, they will die or get really sick or not get the treatment, and they would be super sick. Marsha says, is it legal for one to apply for status if you are here from 2015? Yes, but you'd have to go through like marriage or asylum if things change in your home country since 2015 right now, for you personally, things like that. Fine Dine Eater is asking, my mom's brother filed for her to come to America. It took 19 years at the time when she started the process. She did add her children name to the paper, but now everybody is adults and married. How long will it take for my mom to bring her married adult children in America? I'm going to tell you right now, for the August bulletin, it depends on what your country is. If you're from Mexico, married children is F3. So you can look this up yourself. If you're from Mexico, when your U.S. citizen files for married children, they're looking at the petitions from April 2001 right now, okay? If you're from other countries, not China, not India, not Mexico and Philippines, F3 is November 2009 right now. So if you subtract 2022 minus 2009, you're looking at 13 years or so for married children of U.S. citizens. But your mom has to be a U.S. citizen first, then file, and then wait. If you're not from Mexico, like 13 years. If you're from Mexico, 20 years, approximately 21 years. If you're from Philippines, like 16 years, and so on. It's a long time. Your mom's time is a little bit longer, but not like crazy much longer than married children. Kursun Dadoshi says, if green card holder marries somebody outside the United States, can the person apply for green card? Absolutely, and it doesn't even take that long to bring them. It will take you, I'm going to tell you right now, it'll take you about a year and a half. A year and a half, maybe 2 years to bring them. But that's not long compared to what I just talked about for married children of U.S. citizens or adult children of U.S. citizens. Spouses of green card holders, less than 2 years. Could be like a year and a half, depending, of course, where you're from. I have, so Halani is a new question. I have my immigrant visa interview in Mumbai. By the way, it's my dream to visit Mumbai and India, of course. What kind of question do they ask for VAWA applicant? They're not going to ask much about the marriage because by law, they're not really allowed to. They will review your documents. They will ask you the standard questions like, have you been, deported before? Have you been married to more than one person? Terrorism stuff, crimes, criminal background, things like that. Nothing major, just biographical things. Hi. Kyrie says he crossed with inspection. I understand, but the visa is not really a visa, the C1, D1. It's just a transit authorization, like a parole. UK says, good morning. Good morning, UK. I like saying that, like UK, like the whole country of United Kingdom. Immigrant Forum, my friends from Ukraine says, not from Ukraine, but they're helping Ukrainian refugees. Immigrant Forum says, hi, Marina. So nice to see you again. Can the Lautenberg program, it's a refugee program from people who are overseas, not here. Applicants come here by the Uniting for Ukraine and continue the procedure here. They can come here and file for asylum. I don't think they're going to be able to continue the procedure here, because to interview for it, they would have to leave the United States and go back to their country, and that's not going to work. So they can come by Uniting for Ukraine and file for asylum right here in the United States. It's a different program. It's not through Lautenberg. Lautenberg is for refugees outside. Asylum is within the United States, but it should be fine. We do this all the time. Give us a call if you have clients like that. We can definitely help. Fine, says Jamaica. Oh, Jamaica is less than everyone else. I mean, not everyone else, but less than China, India, Mexico, and the Philippines. Jamaica, they're working on October 2009 right now, which is what? It's still a long time for F3. 2009, they're working on. The year 2009. So anybody who filed in 2009 is now being interviewed if you're from Jamaica. So what is that? Like 20... Still a very long time. Like 23 years? Crazy. No, wait. Not 23. 13. I'm sorry. 2009 is 13 years for married children. Okay, I'm sorry. It's too early for math for me. If I wanted to do math, I would have become an accountant. I'm just kidding. 2009, not 99. Okay, what else? UK says, my parents are American. They have 5 years visa in B1, B2. Oh, they're in America, I guess. They have 5-year visa, tourist visa, which is going to expire in January 2024. But the immigration officer stamped till February 2023. Can they stay until February 2023? Yes, they can. Okay, so whatever the stamp says, you have to follow. You cannot stay longer than the stamp. In the situation where somebody has a visa and they get a stamp, usually people are allowed to come in for up to 6 months, okay? That means your parents came in recently, probably like around July or August, and they got 6 months. The 6 months expires in February. You have to leave. You cannot stay with a tourist visa longer than 6 months. Yes, the tourist visa is for 5 years, some people even 10 years, right? The tourist visa can be used over and over again, but no more than 6 months at a time. A tourist can only stay here for 6 months, not longer than that. Okay, Aziz says, I entered without inspection. I applied for asylum with removal proceedings terminated. Oh, that's good. So you had a case, but now they closed your case for good. You're not being deported anymore. Now I have a VAWA petition filed with a green card concurrently. Can I travel outside? Yes, but you have to bring your order of immigration court termination with you, just in case. Your original immigration court order where it says that your proceedings are being terminated, and it has like an X probably with the court name and the judge's signature in the bottom right corner. You have to travel with that in a folder with you, just in case. But if you have an advance parole, based on my experience, usually you're good to come back. They will lay you back, okay? Thank you. Maria says, Marina, what do you think will happen with DACA? Well, climate and healthcare bill is supposed to have some kind of immigration topics. Do you know any specifics? I heard nothing about the immigration topics they call it Inflation Reduction Act, but it is a climate and healthcare bill. I didn't hear anything about immigration. Let me look it up. Inflation Reduction Act and immigration. They're talking about amending it now. I see what you mean. It's in the news that everybody is saying it was approved, meaning it's going to pass. But now they're thinking of maybe adding a little bit with immigration in it. It's just been a conversation. Nothing has happened yet. they're calling it the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. It's a big spending bill. I love that people are just spending money left and right now, making our inflation worse, actually. So the name is like a bait and switch, you guys. So that you know what bait and switch means? They show you one thing, and then when you want to take it, they switch it to some other BS that you don't need. Okay? So they call it Inflation Reduction Act, but in reality, the government spending so much money from the taxes is creating more inflation. So what you bought yesterday for $5 is now like $9, and there's not helping the inflation. So like the names that politicians pick for things to me are always so funny because they're lies. That's all a lie. It's not true. But they did talk like they keep, I don't know how to explain it, but they keep like leading the immigrants on. They keep dangling the amnesty in front of you, but they never do it. So I have very little belief that anything will happen with immigration with this Inflation Reduction Act. I do see that they're spending more. They're going to give us higher taxes, and they're hired an army of IRS agents. So regular people are going to get audited now, left and right. The IRS, by the way, is the biggest useless agency that we have. It's a money pit. They make less than they earn. You know what I mean? Like they're not worth the money that we pay them, and now they're hiring more of these people who do nothing. For example, if you file an amended tax return, it takes them like a year and a half to process it. That's crazy. But they cash your check if you pay taxes within a month. So that they have no problem doing very quickly. It's just that working on things that you need from them, it takes them a year and a half. So now they're going to hire more people, not to help move things along, but to audit and get even more money from poor people, from middle class people, from anybody who's actually paying. Yes, so yes, you cross the border for USA and Mexico with inspection. Do I need to file where you had an inspection? Meaning you didn't run across the border, but if you didn't have a visa, that's not considered the kind of inspection that you need for adjustment to status. Now, if you had a visa and you used your visa, that's different, but I don't think that's what you had. They allowed you in, but that's not legally considered admitted and inspected. Okay, Immigrant Forum is asking me, and this is more for people from Ukraine, do you recommend people who have a pending asylum case to apply for TPS? Or anybody, actually, this works for anybody who has asylum and can become now eligible for TPS. Does it make sense, especially for those stuck in waiting lines? It makes 100% sense. All my clients who are from Ukraine and have asylum cases, we have filed TPS for. I'm going to tell you why. And it's not just for Ukraine, it's any new country like Congo, Afghanistan that's been added to the TPS list, right? Ukraine, Congo, Afghanistan have recently been added to the list of TPS countries. If you have an asylum case, TPS is going to guarantee that you don't get deported. Now, if you're the kind of person who's not going to get deported, that's going to make the government feel more likely to give you a status. So your chances of winning, I think, are higher because they're going to start thinking, okay, well, I can't get him deported anyway, so we might as well really sit down and do this asylum thing. Another question from Immigrant Forum is, can a person who got asylum based on being gay or LGBTQ travel back to the home country after getting a green card? Hard no. Absolutely not. If you don't have US citizenship yet, no matter what kind of asylum you have, wait for US citizenship before trying to travel home to your home country. Because a green card is still kind of temporary. It's still, there's still a chance they can take it back, okay? Not a big chance, but yes, if you go back to the home country that you said 2 years ago, you were so afraid to return to that you needed permanent asylum in the United States and to hide in the United States. If you go back, you look like a liar next time when you file for US citizenship or renewing your green card or anything like that. Absolutely not if you got asylum. Okay, UK, I understood what you meant, even though the years were confused. Yes, you can stay based on the stamp. The stamp from the officer, if it's longer than the visa validity, you can follow the stamp. You're not violating by staying longer because you have a document and you have a stamp from the person who has jurisdiction and authority to make decisions. The CBP officer can even deport people. So if you got a stamp from them, you're good to stay here. Bahrain is asking how long mention of reopening. Take motion. Okay. How long does the motion to reopen take? Thank you and God bless you. It depends. If you did the motion to reopen in immigration court, it could take a year or 2 or 3 even. It takes some of our cases are taking a long time. And Maria is agreeing with me that it's ridiculous that it's called inflation reduction. It's reducing inflation like I'm getting younger, put it that way, you know? We're all getting older. It's not happening. So this bill is actually making the inflation worse, not better. But it's political. People are getting, hi, Mike, how are you? Politically, people are getting what they want. Not us, not our people, but people in politics. Marsha says if one came in on a visitor visa and overstayed, can they apply for a green card if not married? No, you cannot. No. Nope. Mike is saying, good morning, Marina. If USCIS approves your VAWA travel document, so you got advanced parole based on green card filed with VAWA in 4 or 5 months, is that a good sign? Or does that mean that I will get the VAWA approved in general, or they're just doing their job? They're just doing their job. It's just, the advanced parole and work permits are handled in a completely different place and processed in a totally different way than the VAWA petition. The VAWA petition goes to the Vermont Service Center. It gets assigned to an officer. They read your case. They look at the story. They look at the proofs of the marriage. They look at the proofs of the abuse, like police reports for some people, but not everyone, like a psychologist report showing you change locks and things like that. And then they make a decision. It's like an actual adjudication process. When they give you advanced parole, you just have to apply and they just process it. They don't read it, they don't look at it. There's very little processing involved. So one department handles that and they're just doing their job. Thank God you got your work permit so quick. I have been hearing that some people are starting to get work permits much quicker, but I'm looking up the official time, right? So officially, this is what I tell people, your application for employment authorization based on VAWA is the family case. It's still considered a family adjustment of status. So based on I-485 adjustment application in, let's say, the National Benefit Center, is taking about 8.5 months. So you got lucky with 4 months, and congratulations. Now, I mean, you probably did a good job documenting everything, and so you probably do have a good chance of winning VAWA. But generally speaking, they're not related. You could get a work permit and advance parole, and then, God forbid, not you personally, but somebody could get denied for VAWA. Somalia, can I apply for TPS? You know what? Let me double check. So this is what I do, by the way. I'm always on the website for USCIS. They don't have the most easiest website to use. I admit to that, but that does have a lot of information. And this is basic, like to see who is on the list of TPS countries. And let me read to you the countries that are, yes, Somalia is on the list. Yes, Somalia is on the list. You can apply for TPS if, let me read you what you had to be, what you had to do for that, right? TPS, you can apply until next March, so you have time, but you had to be here inside the United States as of July 19, 2021. So if you were here since 2021, yes, you can apply if you're from Somalia. These are the countries that are on the list besides Somalia: Afghanistan, Burma, Cameroon, El Salvador, Haiti, Honduras, Nepal, Nicaragua, Syria, Somalia. We just talked about Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, Ukraine is new now, Venezuela, and Yemen. So if you're from any of those countries, you can give us a call for a consultation, or just go on the website for TPS, USCIS, and take a look what it says. Okay, immigration former says, thank you for your previous answer, of course. Oh, my friend Joseph says, God bless you and your family, giving me so many hearts. God bless you, Joseph. God bless you. Thank you for always watching. Nimikai King Solomon says, can I apply for advanced parole while my I-485 application is pending and my I-130 is approved? Yes, as long as you don't have an old deportation or anything, absolutely, you're good to apply. Anastasia says, what if my stay in the US ends in October and USCIS doesn't approve TPS till that date or send a receipt notice? You should do nothing. You will get approved. Don't worry. You don't need to extend your visitor visa unless after you get the TPS, you're planning to file for a work visa or something. If you need to have your status for another visa, you should extend your visitor visa. Yes. You could have TPS and valid extended work visa, or extended tourist visa. You only need to preserve your status, to keep your status right now, if you're planning to file for like an O1 or H1 or L1 or one of those non-immigrant visas. There's another question that I didn't see. I don't see it. Oh, here, I found it. Is I-134 a big deal? That's the declaration of support. It's like an affidavit of support. Or is it not a court enforceable form? People should not worry too much about getting sued and ask to repay any benefits the beneficiary may receive. Honestly, it's hard to say right now. I don't know. Right now we have Democrats in power, so for now it's safe to, it's safe. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? It's hard for me to say, to be honest with you. I don't know the answer, TD says, good morning, miss. Another one of my regulars. What are affidavits when I applied for my green card but didn't submit it? I don't think you need to file affidavits when you just file for like a marriage green card. Affidavits are witness letters. You can be your own witness and write an affidavit for your story, for VAWA, for asylum, or you can get friends or family to write letters of support for you, witness letters, and they're all sworn. In other words, the person says, I swear, like, you see people raise their right hand in the movies and say, I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Basically, it's the same thing, but you write, I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. That's an affidavit. Okay, so Anastasia says, if I plan to receive a green card via family reunion, do I need to extend my tourist visa? Probably. It depends on what kind of a family reunion. If your place is very close, then you should extend it, because then you have a good chance of getting there while you're in status and you're all good. Yes, if your place in line is coming up soon, then you should extend it. If you still have 5 years, there's no way to extend it for 5 years. You can only do one time for 6 months. So it doesn't make sense to extend if you're still 5 years away from your family line. Just leave it alone. You will have TPS. Okay, with this, I end our show. This is my last question for today. I thank you all for watching. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the summer. It's almost over. Another 3-4 weeks, and we're back to school and back to the fall. I'm about to go pick up my twins, my younger 2 kids, from sleepaway camp. I had 1 month vacation with no little kids in the house. It was the best. It was amazing. But I miss my kids tremendously. And I can't wait right now to get in my car, drive for 2 hours to Pennsylvania, take them, and by tonight, our clean house will be a mess. So I look forward to this mess because I love my kids. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless you and your kids and your families, wherever you are. See you next week. Bye-bye.